have with us Mr. André Bugeja, a teacher specializing in digital tools. He supports lots of schools, and today he will be guiding us to AI. Of course, our time is limited, and he will give us an introduction, and I guess he will show us also some tools that we can try maybe later on and apply to our project. Andrea, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mario, and good afternoon to all of you, all the students following, as well as all the teachers as well. It's an honor for me to be here with you, to speak to you about artificial intelligence and to help you learn more about artificial intelligence. Basically, these are the points that I will be trying to cover during this session. So the first quick question basically involves trying to find a definition to find out what is AI. Obviously, AI, as most of us know already, means artificial intelligence. And basically what we try to do with artificial intelligence is simulate human intelligence. So artificial intelligence is basically a computer program which tries as much as possible to mimic the way humans think. And this is done by a computer program. So if you are familiar with any program like YouTube, it's an example of a program. Facebook is an example of another program. We call them apps. These are examples of programs. Now, artificial intelligence is basically a program, but it behaves in a different way than a traditional program, because the way it is built, it's not like a traditional program where everything is programmed beforehand, but the model is trained on a set of data and it can, for example, recognize patterns and make predictions based on that data. Artificial intelligence can be used to automate various tasks and has the potential basically to transform a wide range of industries, as it has already started doing in the past year. But it's good to understand as well that AI has been around for much longer than a year, and we'll be speaking about this very soon. Before we start as well, I wanted to give you some examples of artificial intelligence. For example, here I'm mentioning the personal assistants, which maybe some of us are familiar with them on our mobile phone. We have these personal assistants like Google Assistant or Siri and Alexa. We can interact with them by asking them questions. You can listen to their voice, which is synthesized using artificial intelligence as well. So they can process and recognize our voice, find information for us, and they also have the aspect of the speech synthesis, which is basically the artificial creation of the human voice. So that's an example of artificial intelligence. Then we have these smart home devices, which are becoming very, very popular at home, which basically can automate some tasks for us, like switching on lights. And basically, they can recognize our voice and respond to commands. Again, they are using artificial intelligence to recognize our voices and process those commands. There are the famous self-driving cars. For example, Tesla is a famous example of this, and the Google car, which are cars which can drive automatically without the need for a driver to intervene as well. So that's also another form of artificial intelligence. Something which we also meet every day when using the internet is content recommendation, which is very much part of the business of these big companies like Facebook and Google. Basically collect our data and our behaviors online, and they can then recommend advertising which is targeted towards our likes. So basically the advertising will be more effective in that way. So they learn our behavior. There is also natural language processing. Natural language processing, I can give you an example. Straight away, ChatGPT is an example of a chatbot which uses this kind of technology. It is able to converse with us using a chat format. Basically, it can understand what we are saying, and it can respond back to us in a number of different languages as well. There is also image and video recognition, which is technology which allows the AI to recognize images such as photos and even moving images like videos, and it can identify what there is in the image, for example, or what there is in the video. These are technologies which already exist and which are constantly evolving and becoming more and more powerful as time progresses. So regarding the timeline of artificial intelligence, just to give you an idea, although we have been hearing about it for the past year or so, thanks to ChatGPT and the other tools like text-to-image, like DALL-E and so on, artificial intelligence has been around for quite a long time. So if we go back to the mid-20th century, around 1956, is the date when it is considered the birth of artificial intelligence. So it has been around for a number of years. The idea of artificial intelligence was existing even before that date. And just to give you an idea of an event which was like a historic event related to artificial intelligence, in the mid-90s, 97, here I'm showing you this photo basically of the first time that a computer program beaten a chess player, a champion chess player. And this was also thanks to artificial intelligence. So as you can understand, it is not a new technology, but it has evolved because now computers are working much faster than before. So it is more useful because the outcome of the AI is more immediate. So regarding now machine learning. So machine learning is a part of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is made up of different technologies, and today I wanted to go into more detail with regards to machine learning. And basically machine learning is the way that these machines or these computer programs, which are artificial intelligence, is the way they learn by basically looking at a lot of data. And they can also collect this data and learn through experience. So this data can have different forms. Data could be text, it could be photos, images, and based on this data on which it trains, it will then learn and become more knowledgeable, and then it will be able to take decisions on its own. In fact, machine learning can be split up into three fields. There is the supervised learning, which basically involves when someone is helping the machine or the program to learn. The unsupervised version, where the AI is learning on its own completely, and the reinforcement, when the program is receiving feedback and then learning back from the feedback it receives. So when we are speaking of data or data sets, as we said, this can mean different things. Data can be collected also using different means. Here I am giving an example of images, measurements, which could be a measurement of time, number of views, for example, on a video, measurement in centimeters or meters, and so on. It could be text, it could be video recordings. So obviously the AI will be using different sensors, for example, to collect the information. So if you have like a self-driving car, for example, it would have a sensor which can see the environment around the car, so it can then take decisions and be able to see through the sensor what is happening around the car. And through past experience and through the data which it had collected before, it will be able to act accordingly on its own without the need for a driver. Now, to illustrate this better and to better understand what machine learning is, we can use a simple tool like QuickDraw, which is a tool which you can use yourself as well. When you have some time, I suggest that you try to access this website, which is called quickdraw.com. quickdraw.withgoogle.com. Basically, QuickDraw is a system which is trained on data sets consisting of doodles. Doodles basically are scribbles which basically represent different things, which I'm going to show you in a moment. And basically, it has a large database of scribbles, and it can basically recognize an object that you start scribbling on the screen, as I'm going to show you in a moment. So this is the website called quickdraw.withgoogle.com. And if you click on the Let's Draw button here, it will start this game. It will show you a prompt of an object that it wants you to draw or doodle on the screen. And basically, it will try to guess the object that you are drawing. And it will then bring out another object, and you try to draw this object on the screen. So I'm going to try this now. So basically, it's telling me to draw a lantern at the moment. Okay, so basically, now it shows me all the prompts that it has given me, and then I can click on the prompts, and it will show me some of the data on which this model is trained. So in this case, it was asking me for a lantern. If I scroll down here, I can see all the data on which this model is trained to recognize a lantern. And this is only actually part of the data, because this has a very large database of images on which it is trained. So you can understand how this AI is able to recognize my lantern by basically being trained on this large data sets of different lanterns. Obviously, keep in mind that the lantern can have different shapes, it can be drawn from different angles. So obviously, the more data it has, or it is trained on how a lantern looks, the more it will be able to recognize basically the lantern. So I invite you to try this out, because it is very interesting to learn how machine learning actually works. So going back to machine learning now, just to go through the details of these different ways that machine learning works, you have the supervised learning, where you are showing the AI actual examples of the data. So for example, if you want the machine to recognize between a dog and a cat, you show it a lot of images of different cats, a lot of images of different dogs, and each time you show the AI a cat, you label that as a cat. So you tell the AI that you are showing it a cat. And if you are showing it a dog, you tell the AI that you are showing it a dog. And that is called supervised, because you have someone supervising the learning. Then you have an example of unsupervised learning, and this is the way that the artificial intelligence learns on its own certain patterns or certain behaviors. For example, if we are using YouTube and we are watching videos related to cats, so we are searching for cats, and a lot of videos about cats come up today. The next day, we're searching again about cats, and the following day, we're again looking for videos about cats because we like cats so much. And obviously, the algorithm on its own will be able to catch up the fact that we like cats. So it will start suggesting videos and even probably advertising related to cats, because it recognizes on its own that we like cats. And that is called unsupervised learning, because you do not have someone supervising the AI. Then we have reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is when the AI learns from itself by actually doing something. For example, when it comes to games, even video games, for example, the AI could learn how to play the game, because we can give the AI the rules of how to play the game, and it will try to play the game by following the rules. And when it basically manages to win the game, it will recognize that way of playing is good for the AI to be able to beat the game. So it will become better and better to be able to play the game and to actually win the game. And that is called reinforcement learning. Just to give you an idea, software such as ChatGPT uses this kind of learning in general, which is called reinforcement learning. So let us now look at classification examples, which are basically real-world scenarios where this type of AI, machine learning, can be used. For example, handwriting detection is a way that the AI can recognize our own handwriting, and this works because the AI is trained by basically being given a lot of examples of handwriting, and obviously the more handwriting that it sees, the more it will be able to recognize handwritten text. Another example which we probably use every day is the spam filter on our email, which basically manages to recognize emails which are malicious or which are spam, and manages automatically to recognize these emails and puts them in the spam folder for us automatically, and saving us a lot of hassle and maybe problems as well. Another technology related to machine learning is face detection, which can be used, for example, to log on to our phones. It is able to recognize faces and our face, and basically it's a technology also related to machine learning because it manages to recognize faces by looking at different faces and models of human faces. Another tool that I wanted to show you is called Teachable Machine. This is a tool developed by Google. It's an educational tool, and it is very good for us to help us basically learn more about machine learning and how it works, because it enables us to build our own model by training the model ourselves in any way that we want. So basically the way it works is you basically give it information. It could be photos, for example, as I will show you in a minute. Then you train the model, and then you show examples of data to the model, and the model will try to guess the object that you are showing it. Let me show you how it works. So basically, this is the website you need to access. It's called teachablemachine.withgoogle.com. So you just click Get Started. You do not need to create an account. And for this project, I'm going to test the image project, but you can also experiment with the other two if you want. But for this example, I'm going to select image project, and I'm going to select the standard image model. So how this works is that you have different classes here. These are the data sets on the left of the screen. In the middle of the screen, you have the training model, which will be trained on the data set that you feed it. And last, you have the preview, in which you are going to show it a photo, and it will try to guess using the data that you gave it to train itself what the object is. So I'm going to show you an example of how you can use this. For example, let us say I want to create a system to recognize between dogs and cats. So I am going to name my class cats, and I am going to upload different photos of cats. You can do this simply by finding photos of cats on the internet and downloading them, or you can, if you want, take photos with a camera of different cats, and then you can just upload them by clicking on the upload button here. So I am going to choose images from my computer, and here I prepared 10 images of cats on which I am going to train this model. So now under the class of cats, I have 10 photos representing different cats. Under the second class, I'm going to basically train it on dogs, because I wanted to distinguish between dogs and cats. So I'm going to upload different photos of dogs. So dogs, basically, the photos can be found online, or you can take the photos yourself. You can also use the web camera of your device to take photos there and then. So I have 10 images of cats, 10 images of dogs, and now I am going to press the train model button to start training the AI. It's going to train itself now to recognize cats and dogs based on the data that I give it. So now it is training. Once you train the model, you can give it an input through a file, for example. So you can basically upload another photo. For example, let me try to show it a photo of a cat, and I click open. So basically I uploaded a photo of a cat which was not part of my training model. This cat is not part of my training model. And now down here you can see in the form of a graph that it is recognizing this photo as a cat 100%. It is 100% sure that this photo is a cat. Let me try to choose another photo. For example, I am going to show it a photo of a dog. So in this case, this dog is being recognized as 27% cat and 73% dog. The reason being because my data set is limited. Okay, so maybe it is not 100% sure if this is a dog or not, but obviously it is more leaning towards dog. Let me try something different as well. Let me try to give it a photo of something completely different. For example, a bird. And as you can see, in this case, for the AI, the bird is 70% cat and 30% dog. Obviously, it is not trained to recognize birds, so it can only distinguish between dogs and cats. If we try to give it a sketch, for example, a sketch of a cat, in this case, it completely gets it wrong because, again, the AI is only trained on photos of cats. It is not being trained on sketches of cats. How accurate it gives us the result is based always on the data set on which the AI is trained. And this is something important that we need to keep in mind because the AI is only good as much as the data on which it is trained. So we need to be careful sometimes when you use AI. For example, when you're using something like ChatGPT, it could, for example, be biased towards a particular subject or topic because the training set on which it was trained was originally biased. So the AI will by nature then become biased. It could also present information which is not correct because the data set could have errors, for example, on it. So that is another issue that we need to keep in mind when dealing with artificial intelligence. Obviously, this is something that you can experiment with because you can upload more images and therefore make the AI more accurate by giving it more and more examples of different cats and different dogs in different forms, angles, and you can test the results using this model very easily. So I suggest that you dedicate some time to test Teachable Machine because it's a good way to understand how artificial intelligence works. So basically, that is what I wanted to present to you today about artificial intelligence. I hope that you enjoyed this session and you have a now better understanding of artificial intelligence and how it works. It is always a good idea to experiment with artificial intelligence and tools to keep up to date with what is happening in the industry of artificial intelligence, but at the same time be cautious of the information that artificial intelligence provides you with, because as I said before, the information may not always be accurate, even though sometimes the information is presented as being accurate, and sometimes the AI itself is convinced that it is giving us accurate information. When you use chatbots like Copilot, like Gemini, or like ChatGPT, it can easily hallucinate, which is the technical term for when it gives you incorrect information and when it presents it as being factual information, when in reality it is not. So it is something we need to keep in mind, and we can better understand how artificial intelligence works in our favor and by understanding its limitations as well. And when we understand how artificial intelligence works, we will be able to use it better as well. Għal aktar informazzjoni żur il-website tagħna digitalliteracy.skola.edu.mt.